What's in the cards for you? Thanks for joining this free live tarot party. It's wonderful to have you. I'm going to just make sure that I am live. As you hop on, give me a quick hello. Let me know where you're watching from. And most importantly, if you'd like me to pull a card for you, pop your name in the comments. And that way I can know, or just give me like, I want a card, and I will pull a card for you. What I do on these free tarot parties is I read for as many people as I can. I try to keep in track with the names that I see, but if I'm missing you, add your name again, or like say, hey, I still want a reading. And I'm going to do my best to read as many people as I can. What I have discovered after doing this spiritual work for over 20 years is that spirit works in incredible ways. And sometimes, even when we don't have direct readings, like even when I've been in the audience, so to speak, for my teachers and I haven't received a direct reading, I find that my loved ones come through, they piggyback, spirit piggybacks the messages onto other people's readings. So keep your ears open and your eyes open for the messages that are coming through for you. Shannon, hello. Eleanor, Delee, welcome. Jacqueline, so great to have you. Kim, yes. Wonderful. Christine, I'm so glad you made it. Welcome, welcome. Eleanor, fantastic. And Marie-Eve. Oh, Marie-Ève. Bien sûr. Ah, bienvenue. So great to have you from Quebec, from Canada. Wonderful. Okay, let's jump in without further ado. I'm going to just pull a card in general. Alicia, hello from Texas, for what is most important for everyone to know. So if you're tuning into this wonderful, fun tarot party, these are always a blast. Know that here in the very beginning, I'm going to just ask for all of us what's most important that you need to know coming into this upcoming eclipse energy, because we are starting off eclipse season, and eclipses are known for shaking things up, shaking us out of complacency. So I invite you to just place your hand on your heart and tune in and just ask, what's the most important thing I need to know about the upcoming eclipses? Page of Imps. Now I'm using a very fun deck. This is my Halloween tarot deck. I love it. It's playful for this time of year. This is essentially Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands energy is one of inspiration. So inspiration is coming to you. Pages are messengers. And the wand energy is fire. It's insight, inspiration. So I'm going to invite you with these eclipses. You know, there's wonderful poetic lines where they say, like, the cracks in the wall is where the light can come through. So if something cracks in your world, if something shifts, know that the light is going to come through to inspire you. For example, with a lot of eclipse energy, what ends up happening is most often, when we get comfortable, why change? It may not be great, it may not be over the top, but it's okay. It's good enough. And yet the universe says there's so much more out there for you, and you really should go for it. But it takes getting a little uncomfortable to get there. So an eclipse will nudge you out of the comfort nest and say, let's go for it. Let's jump in. And that little inspiration and motivation, this is when it can come through, when we're out of our normal routines. Hello, hello, Yang. So great to have you from Northeastern Nevada. And Jane, welcome. And Elisa, welcome, welcome, welcome. And I've had a lot of people asking about loved ones on the other side. And so, Elisa, I see you. Hello, Lioness Antoinette. If the loved ones, if we have some time at the end, we'll do some mediumship reading as well, because I do that as well. And I think it's important. It's been coming up more and more, and I'm just feeling that on my heart. So just as a quick aside, if we haven't met yet, by the way, I'm Irina Miller, spiritual life guide, astrologer, energy alchemist. I have been studying sacred practices for 3 decades now. The 90s weren't that long ago, were they? But for me, my goal is to teach empathic, curious seekers the sacred practices and tools that enable them, because if you're on this call, most likely you are an empath. You are most likely moon sensitive. You know that there's more going on than meets the eye. You have nudges, gut instincts, knowings, intuitive hits, and hopefully you've been following them. But that's what I love to do, is teach people the language of intuition. And I meet you where you are, because some sacred practices are for us and some are not. That's why I love to put together unique energy recipes for you so you can make the most of it. And that's why I use the cards. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and pull a card. Hello, Donna Marie. Hello, Michael. So glad you made it. I'm going to pull a card. And Michael, since your name popped up, I'm going to go ahead and pull a card for you and just ask, what's the most important thing that you need to know right now? Queen of Ghosts, Queen of Cups, and I get chills. I know that we spoke a little bit earlier today on Messenger. Queen of Cups or Queen of Ghosts, this is a very nurturing, mothering energy. So the loved one that did transition earlier this year, know that she's watching over you. Know that there is that soft spot in her heart. And I'm wondering if Michael, if she had something going on with her lungs, or even if you're feeling something in your lungs with grief, definitely take some time. If anybody was smoking, I don't know if you smoke or not, but I would encourage you, do things that are healthy for your lungs in order to process during this moment in time. That could be simple breathing exercises, which are great for everyone. In my yoga tradition, I learned pranayama, the breath work. So I would encourage everyone, and we'll just do this now. We'll do a quick grounding exercise. And Michael, there's more coming through for you. But just for a moment, everyone bring your awareness into the very center of your chest and welcome a breath. Say hello to your unique, beautiful energy. This is the first thing as an empath that we want to tune into. And Joyce, you said she had emphysema. I feel that. That's her way of saying hello and just validating that it's her. Say hello to all of your angels and loved ones and guides. And Michael, I'm just saying hello, and Joyce saying hello to your loved ones, because I know there's a connection there. And the importance of smell comes up very much with her. So I just want to say hello to that. That things smelled good, or that you liked, well, like, how we like smelly candles or the air fresheners. I'm just saying hello to that. Very playful energy. And as we say hello to this energy, also take a moment to say hello to God, universe, everyone, the peace that passes all understanding. Draw a line from your head to your heart, connecting logic with emotion. And to be in a grounded place is very helpful for readings. So take a moment to drop a cord. Just imagine a beautiful green light, like you're shining it from your tailbone all the way down through the pelvic floor, down between the legs. Down it moves through any layers of floor beneath your feet. Down through the 6 layers of earth, the topsoil, the subsoil. Breathe. Down through a layer of granite. Down through a layer of fire, of crystals, of magma, all the way to the very core, the heartbeat of Mother Earth. Beautiful. As you're grounded to the earth, imagine a beautiful golden ball of light over your head and breathe more of your higher self, your soul, into the experience. So you imagine like a color, your higher self, your soul, or like a song or a smell. And you breathe it in, filtering it through that golden ball of light down through the crown of your head, the back of the neck, and into the back of the heart. And breathe. Beautiful. You can welcome a deep breath and slowly, slowly open your eyes. And Joyce, she was your mom. So beautiful mothering energy that she brings through. The ghost of cups, or the Queen of Ghosts, Queen of Cups, is very intuitive, empathic, very, very nurturing, very caring. Know that she's watching over both of you from up above. I do believe in heaven, so I believe that she's watching over you like a guardian angel. Talk to her. Take time during your day. When I was going through my mediumship training, one of the things that I really loved, I studied under James von Prague, is he would have us set aside like an appointment or a date during the day. Like at 10 a.m., I'm going to take 15 minutes to have a cup of tea with mom and just stare out the window at the bird feeder. You could do something like that. You could go for a walk. You could simply sit down and light a candle. But to take that time, oh, I get chills. You're going to find that she shows up in many different ways. And I get confirmation on that. That's hysterical. I love it. My little phone's dinging. Let me make sure it doesn't ding again. So thank you. Thank you. Oh, glad you're here. Amy, glad to have you. Okay, so we're going to keep going. So Jacqueline, I see you at the top of the list. I'm going to go ahead and pull a card for you. Jacqueline Leroux. I love all these French names. I love the French language. Oh my goodness gracious. I love all languages. Who am I kidding? All right, so Jacqueline, I'm going to tune in and ask, what's the most important thing you need to know right now? And this is 10 of Ghosts, so 10 of Cups. This is a very happy, fulfilled time where emotion is just brimming. It's a family who is enjoying themselves. This can sometimes represent like cottage industry. So if there has been a side hustle that you've had on your mind that you've been wishing to bring to the forefront, know that the support is there. But this is a time to really surround yourself with family. With the moon going into Scorpio this weekend, I would encourage you, bring your soul friends, your soul family around you. Maybe you take some time to have a little gathering, a get together, but it is a happy time. It can be very joyful. Surround yourself with good family. And when I say good family, I mean like soul friends. Like I'm combining words now. Like, you know how they talk about soul food or like good times, to bring that all together. And what better way than to have a great meal? Wonderful. Shannon, I see you. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and pull a card for Shannon Anderson. And I'm going to just ask, what's most important that Shannon needs to know? 5 of Bats. So the 5 of Bats is an interesting card because this is a card where you see this guy here. He's got all the candy. He's like, I win. The one with the most candy wins. And then you have this little guy over here crying, saying, wait, I didn't end up with any candy. This is kind of like, we can win. You can win whatever's going on, but at what cost? This also reminds me of that moment, like you lose the battle to win the war. So take a moment to evaluate what's going on in your life, Shannon, to see, is it really worth the angst? Is it really worth fighting for? You could definitely win, but it comes at a cost. And is the cost worth it? So for example, I'm asking for an example. This is okay, so she'll probably kill me. Hopefully she's not watching. I don't think she is. She's at a football game. So my daughter, like when you have teenage kids and they go out and you're like, are you wearing that? Like it's cold, the temperature's going to drop. It's kind of rainy. Like, won't you get cold? Didn't you want a hoodie? Like, wear a sweater. I'm like my great grandmother now. And you just start to say, okay, I could win and make her bring more layers to stay warm. But I know that she's going to be okay. I know that I've trained her, to understand weather and to dress appropriately. So that's kind of what the card represents, Shannon. And just as a side note, that's how I read cards. I read them very much like tuning on a weather report. So I knew today we had a great hot day where we were, but that storms were coming and that the storms were going to bring a cold front in and drop the temperature about 15 degrees. And as a result, I definitely planned my day differently because of that. And I thought about how that might affect my family and the activities they were doing. And that's how I see the cards. It's like turning on the weather or looking it up and saying, oh, there's going to be some thunderstorms today. So what can I do to have a more positive experience and not get caught in the rain? I can't change the fact that there's going to be a storm coming through, unless you want to get into 11th chakra shamanistic work. That's a conversation for another time. But generally speaking, right, we're not going to be changing the weather. But if we know it's coming, we know how to prepare. I'm not going to go out. I'll skip the game. I'll wear layers. I'll bring a raincoat, all of those types of things. So the cards aren't telling us, no matter what, this fated bad thing is going to happen. No. It says there's a storm coming. It's a storm. It's neither good nor bad. What are you going to do about it? You have free will. You get to choose how you want to interact with that. So just taking that into consideration. Oh, Delee, you love this deck of cards. I know, this is a neat one. Joanne, hello. Great to have you. Okay, so keep popping in comments because when I scroll back to look at the tippity top who was commenting along the way, some of the names just don't, and comments don't appear. So Cindy, I see you hopping on. Shannon, you said LOL. All right, so Cindy just asking, what's most important that you need to know right now? As I shuffle, I just see who kind of pops up. 8 of Pumpkins, 8 of Pentacles. So Cindy, when the 8 of Pentacles pops up, this is really about, so I think of certifications when I see this. It's studying something. It's kind of like, I'm almost there. I'm working towards something. I'm learning about something. So if there's an opportunity for you to learn and to sharpen the saw back in the day, do you guys ever remember that 7 highly effective habits that came out by Stephen Covey? Sharpen the saw was one of them. It's like where we take time to say, I want to learn more about this. I want to develop a mastery around it. So you're being presented with an opportunity to go deeper in your learning, whether it's to certify in something, whether it's to develop a mastery, check it out. So Alicia, you're asking, where can you get this deck? That's a great question. You could probably, let me show you the box of it. I will pop up a link, but it's a Halloween tarot deck. And I think I got it off Amazon. So I'll pop up a link here in a moment. But Alicia, since I see you, let's go ahead and take a moment to read a card for you. So what's the most important thing that Alicia needs to know right now? King of Pumpkins, the King of Pentacles. This is the Fat Cat card. I love all these prosperous, abundance manifesting cards that are coming up. This is the time to do manifestation rituals. With the upcoming eclipses, you might find that there are big wins and opportunities out there for you. Because eclipses shake things up and shake us out of complacency, sometimes we get frustrated because we think we've lost something. Like, oh no, like that was great, that relationship, that job, that item, whatever it is. But it's saying there's so much more out there. Take a moment, and I would encourage you, as I kind of tune in, write down specifically what it is that you're wishing for. There's a great practice that I do in my new moon club or my moon club. We do new moon rituals. I don't know if you've heard about my moon club yet. Definitely check it out. irenamiller.co/club. And in the moon club, we have the new moon rituals. And part of it, I use Jan Spiller's technique of writing new moon wishes, not affirmations, but wishes. This is where we're telling the universe, this is what I wish for. Really want this to happen. So for a wish, you could write along the lines, Alicia, I want to easily and happily attract good fortune and abundance into my life through a great job that I love. Something along those lines. And, it could be for any topic. Work is just popping to mind. All right. Fantastic. Donna Marie. Yes. James Van Praagh. Yeah. He spells his last name Praagh though. Yeah. He's amazing. Incredible teacher. He brought my mom through once in a group reading, and I was just so tickled. So much fun. Our loved ones are on the other side. It's a wonderful thing. All right. So Amy Herrera, we're going to pull a card for you. What's most important that you need to know? Ace of Pumpkins. So the Ace of Pentacles, a gift of money coming your way. Well, this is a fun night to do a reading. The other reason I picked tonight to do the reading is astrologically. Let's see if I still have it up. We have, let me just pull up the chart itself so I can look at it to make sure I'm saying it correctly, because Jupiter is playing a role here. Jupiter is playing with, who's Jupiter playing with? Anyway, I'll get into that later. Jupiter is kind of playing with the sun a little bit. There's a little bit of a square happening, but there's this opportunity for good luck and good fortune. So I'm going to just highly encourage you. Amy, I was like, oh, holy cannoli, Amy, keep your eyes open your mail, because sometimes we get refunds, rebates, checks in the mail, and it looks like a bill, but open things up, open up your emails, pay attention to things that are coming into your life. You're being handed a gift of something physically prosperous. I'll say it that way, which often can be money. All righty. Yay. Candy, I'm so glad you're here. Fantabulous. Oh, okay. So that's as high as I can go with my little, yeah. And Shannon, you said it, Anderson, it said definitely resonates with you. You're so welcome. Okay. And Joyce, I'm so glad you're here for this. Wonderful. And Delee, yeah, this is a great deck of cards. So Delee, I'm going to go ahead and pull a card for you. Go ahead and just place your hand on your heart and what's most important that Delee needs to know. Okay, 3 of bats. So the 3 of swords. So Delee, when this card comes up, it's talking about a moment where our heart feels, definitely there's a sadness. There's an ache, a heartache. And these little bats, they're really sitting on the heart. And I kind of feel like a couple different things. You have the wonderful cat down here who's in his protective mode. And you've got the lightning up here. And the bats are trying to protect the heart. But the heart has experienced a wound. When we're in a moment like this, it's important to recognize the heartache and the grief that might be coming up. One of the things that I love to do is to move emotion up and out, because emotion is energy in motion. And if there has been any sadness or heartache in your life, this is a universe recognizing that, saying, we see that you're not alone and that the heart will heal over time. So taking times to do a walking meditation, especially a labyrinth. I don't know if you have a labyrinth near you. And if you don't, I'll share in the Moon Club group a labyrinth practice I have, and I'll tag you in that because I know you're in Moon Club. And that is a very healing practice. And for all of those watching, with a labyrinth, it's very different than a maze. What you do at the very beginning before you start, I love to take a rock or a leaf or something before I begin, and I just say a little prayer like, may God go before me and show me the way. May angels watch and protect me throughout the day. And then I ask my question, or I leave my burden symbolized by the rock, and I just place it at the entrance of the labyrinth. I'm looking for answers, God. Please help me on this. How do I heal? What step do I take next? I leave that with the rock at the front entrance. I know the prayer will be answered. I'm not going to worry about it. And I simply walk the path of the labyrinth. And when you get to the center of the labyrinth, usually there's some kind of revelation or understanding of what to do next. And it's a very healing practice. Yeah. So I hope that helps, Delee. And let's see. Sandra D, you said I always share great techniques. Oh, you're so welcome. I'm so glad that you like these techniques and the information. And Daniela, thanks for saying awesome energy. I'm so glad you're here. So Sandra D, let's go ahead and pull a card for you. And I'm going to just ask, what's most important that Sandra D needs to know? Well, okay, there's a couple of things coming through. So number one, I just want to acknowledge the power of your clairaudience or interesting, I said clairaudience, but I was feeling your third eye very, very open, very clairvoyant, very, very clear seeing, but you probably also have that inspiration of clear hearing. Very, very psychic energy, Sandra D. Beautiful. So for what pops up for you is the chariot energy. Look at that little pumpkin driving this. It's like a hearse for this one. But the chariot energy is another success and victory. Sometimes it indicates a move, like where you're going somewhere. There's going to be a change of location. But it also represents success and victory. So if you have been working on something diligently and you've just been waiting for that break, waiting for that opportunity to say, oh, okay, I can catch my breath, like this is actually working. It is. So this card represents victory. You can really, and it doesn't show it so much in this card as it does the traditional deck, but in the traditional deck, oh my gosh, this is so interesting. Look at that little third eye at the very center of the chariot. Trust your vision, Sandra D. Trust them. When you get an insight, you get an image that, because clairvoyance, clear seeing, works in a whole different way. And by the way, I'm going to be offering a masterclass. It's a free masterclass on developing your intuition. It's my 4 signature system pillar set that I put together over the last 20 years. I'll leave information about that later, but that's happening next week on Thursday, September 12th here in the group. But the third eye, that clear seeing, sometimes when people hear clairvoyant, they think, oh, you must see dead people and you must see colors around people. Some people do, yes. And some people can develop that, yes. But more often than not, with clairvoyance, we get impressions in our head. We get images or pictures that pop up of people, like a memory from a movie or from our own life. It's different. It's not like we always see with our eyeballs. So the clairvoyant abilities that you have are very, very strong. I would encourage you to trust them. Garima, so great to have you. Welcome, welcome. Wonderful. Paulette, so glad you made it. And Linda Mel, fantastic. So Paulette, I'm going to go ahead and pull a card for you and just ask what's most important that Paulette needs to know right now. 4 of Pumpkins. So 4 of Pumpkins is the same as 4 of Pentacles. And you can see it's a very happy pumpkin. He's got a wonderful goodie bag in his hand. He's going out trick-or-treating under the beautiful moonlight. But the 4 of Pumpkins is knowing when to hold on and when to let go. Sometimes with the 4 of Pumpkins, what can happen is let me say it this way. There's a moment of stability. Think of 4 like 4 table legs on a chair. And with the 4 table legs, Paulette, there's a stability that comes. There's something to celebrate. It's like the excitement that is there on Halloween, on trick-or-treating night when we're going out. There's that moment where we say, I'm ready to take the next step. I'm ready to, knock on the door and ask for the trick or the treat. There is celebration in the air. I would invite you right now to enjoy yourself, to feel the excitement in the air, to tune into it and see where that's guiding you. Like if you ever, I did this practice once. I did it with muscle testing. Do you guys ever do muscle testing? There's a way to do muscle testing on your own. It's called the O-ring, where you bring thumb and index finger together, and then you have to calibrate this. It's very subjective. It's not a science, and it takes some good practice because, there are little nuances to it. And I go deeper into this in my other more in-depth programs, like the Mastering Intuition program. But you can muscle test and you can calibrate, like this is a yes, this is a no. And what you can do is notice the energy of a space. When I was studying with a teacher in Santa Monica, I wandered the streets. I had so much fun. And I'd be like, where's there a coffee shop? And I would kind of look at the street that was most attractive. It had the best vibe and drawing me in. There was like an excitement to it. And I might have muscle tested as well and say, is this a good street? Will I find a coffee shop down it, or should I avoid this street? And the information came, and I always ended up in a beautiful space. So what this is encouraging you, Paulette, to do is to feel the vibe and feel the energy and kind of follow it to the party. Oh, I've got some more fun stories with that. Love you too, Tammy. So glad you're here. And Yang, you say you love muscle testing, use it all the time with your clients, and they're always amazed. Yes. Yeah. And many times, like if you have someone, a partner there with you, they do muscle testing with the arm. That's a traditional way if you know about that. But if you're on your own, the O-ring is a nice way to do it. So yeah, fantastic. And let's see, Linda Mel, I'm going to go ahead and pull a card for you. And I'm just asking, what's most important that Linda needs to know? Ooh, Page of Ghosts. So Page of Cups. This is happy, happy news coming your way. It's a little fish in the cup talking to the little ghost. I would be on the lookout for a really happy, exciting news. Sometimes when the Page of Cups comes our way, it's the announcement of a marriage or an expectancy, a birth somewhere. And it could be literal or it could be figurative. There might be an opportunity for you to, and it's really news that we receive. So I'm going to say be on the lookout. Good news is coming your way. And it's a time to definitely tune your energy into the playful and the fun. I was listening to a great video podcast on YouTube with Dr. Weil, whom I just love. I've studied his stuff since the 90s. And Mayim Bialik, I'm always afraid I say her name wrong. Do you guys know Mayim Bialik? I think she's a doctor, so I should say Dr. Bialik. She has a fantastic show, and she interviewed Dr. Weil with her co-host, Jonathan. And it was fantastic. He was talking a little bit about energy medicine and talking about how emotions are contagious. And if we are feeling sad, if we are feeling down in the dumps, don't hang around with sad people or don't always look at sad things. Look at something to lift your spirits. And I always love the Robin Williams movies, like he did very sad, dramatic ones too. But to lift spirits, to laugh. Watch somebody who's going to make you laugh. Laughter is such a healing medicine. So to really be in the right spot at the right time to receive this good news, Linda, I'm going to encourage you, do your joy, do something that brings laughter, that lights you up. Hang around those people, watch those shows, and you're going to find that message coming through even more. And yes, Young Blossom, I love it, right? It's just like, I think if my younger self who watched Blossom could be like, oh my gosh, look at Dr. Bialik now and what she's doing, I'd just be thrilled. Oh my goodness. And so Marie-Eve, we'll go ahead and pull a card for you. What's most important that Marie-Eve knows? 7 of Pentacles. Take stock, reflect. Many times, we have a goal and we're working so hard to accomplish it. We keep going. We don't always have time to stop and say, is this actually working? Or what's been working and what hasn't? This is the beautiful pumpkin farmer who's looking at his pumpkin crop. And he's saying, you know what? The pumpkins that I fertilized with ABCXYZ, they grew bigger and faster. Or the pumpkins that I watered more, they did great. Or the pumpkins that I planted in this field or at this time. So this is saying basically, what actions have you been taking and what results are they yielding? Is it yielding what you expected? Is it good return, not so great return? So make adjustments accordingly by taking a moment to pause and reflect. And that's going to make all the difference. All right. And I'm glad you're excited about the masterclass. I am too. I am too. And Tracy, I see you. And I will go ahead and pull a card. And Michael, yeah, we'll definitely do some more channeling at the end. And Donna Marie said you love James. He brought your husband Randy through. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, and James is always going to be spot on. I mean, he's a master. Oh my God. Just incredible. I just love his work. Okay, so Tracy, tuning into your energy and just asking, what's the most important thing that Tracy needs to know? 10 of bats. So the 10 of bats is the same as the 10 of swords. This is a card of hope. This is saying that the hardest part, the worst part is over and that light is on the horizon. If you feel like you've been betrayed, Tracy, or, this can sometimes feel like the energy of being stabbed in the back, or, like just someone betrayed your trust potentially. The worst part's over. The light's on the horizon. Move towards the light. Walk towards the light in the sense of go towards the hopefulness. Know that new things are on the horizon. Opportunities and blessings are there, and they are coming your way. And I hope that makes sense. And lots of hugs for you. So Diane from Edinburgh, Scotland, great to have you. So tuning into Diane's energy, what's most important for Diane to know? One hopped out of the card right away, the High Priestess energy. And I get chills. The thing about the High Priestess energy is that she knows. She has the answer, but she's not going to tell you. So when this card pops up, number one, it is a confirmation, the validation of your incredible intuitive gifts, how incredibly knowing you are. You've got a clear sense of knowing. The other thing that I get very strongly with you, Diane, is that you are an incredible channel. You can bring messages through from the energy around you. We'll put it that way. It's very interesting how this kitty cat is over her head. But when I first looked at this particular image, it almost felt like this was the head of a figure behind her. And so I don't know if you've ever done any work, Diane, yourself with mediumship or with channeling. One of the things that I do feel is very important, that we're very grounded before we do any kind of messaging work, even, reading cards, because I'm acting as a channel right now, tuning into your energy, your higher self, to God, universe, and asking what's most important for Diane to know. And I feel that you have we all do, right? We all have direct access to this intuitive information. The channels a little bit more open. We can all get to a place where we can do this. It might take practice. Some people just are naturally open. And I feel that you very much are. One thing that is very important, ground. Why? Because when you're grounded, you take seniority in your space. That's so important. The second thing is that also enables you to know your energy versus the energy that you're channeling. Because you don't want energy to hang around. You're not living somebody else's life for them or something else's life. You worked really hard to get this physical body. Like, no. This is your life. You can bring a message through, that's fine. And then gatekeepers. Gatekeepers are really important. So those are just some tips I would give you, so that when you're bringing messages through, you don't feel like any residual afterwards, that it doesn't exhaust you, that you don't feel unlike yourself. So hopefully that makes sense. All right. A sip of tea. All righty. So Joanne. Oh, I'm going to pull a card for you. You have a great last name. Longabach? I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. My apologies. And all right, so we're going to take a moment to tune into your energy and just ask what's most important for Joanne to know right now. There we go. Oh, there's a couple that want to pop up for you. All right, hold on. Joanne, what's most important she needs to know? It's interesting. Okay, so Page of Bats. So this is a Page of Swords. So I think this is why the more that so developing the language of intuition, even like reading the cards here right now, what you saw me just do was I had a card that popped up and it looked like, okay, this is the card. But then all of a sudden the cards kind of shifted as I went to pull it, and a couple other cards wanted to come up. And I knew that there was a bit of confusion, some confusion around what might be going on around Joanne. And then the Page of Bats showed up. So the Page of Bats is like the Page of Swords. This wonderful young little figure has all these bats flying around, and they're trying to just stay on their path, stay in their lane, and do their stuff. But all this distraction, it's a lot of opinions and thoughts of other people. It could also be a time where you feel like, what are other people thinking about me, or what are they saying? And it causes confusion because it makes it difficult for us to be in a place of our heart to choose based on what's best in our highest and best interest, because other people's opinions are affecting us. So this is saying, basically, keep your nose in your lane. Don't worry what people are saying. If you find yourself, now this is interesting, kind of clearing. If you find yourself in a space where other people are talking about other people, essentially gossiping, remove yourself from the situation. Don't be around that, because that's only going to stir up in your mind, oh my God, what are they saying about me when I'm not here? Just remove yourself and go back into your lane and focus on what's most important for you to do right here, right now, in this lifetime. Because everybody's going to have an opinion. People will think different things. And Yang, you said, it's such a joy watching you do this work, Irina. Oh, thank you. You're so radiant, and I've missed being in your energy. Likewise. Yes, you were the one who taught me how to podcast, Yang, back in the day and get it all set up. So let's go ahead and pull a card for the most amazing Yang. What's most important for Yang to know? All right, so it's definitely a time of transition. This card, it's known as the death card, and sometimes it's like, But the thing I love about this card, because there's no such thing as bad cards and good cards in the deck, in my opinion. Other readers will have different opinions. This is a card that marks a transition. It's saying one chapter is closing, or one story is closing, so that another one can open. So you are right at a very pivotal transformational spot, Yang, where new opportunities are coming your way. And what I even love about this is the Ankh. The Egyptian Ankh is there, which is the sign of life, which is an opportunity for you to really fully blossom. We're talking about the flowers, blossom and step into life. So I'm going to encourage you, just the thing about this too is that you could have two different readers have the same card and get completely different messages. Because when it comes down to it, I'm going to let you in on a little secret here, because we're all friends, right? It's not about the cards. When people are reading the cards, they're really bringing through psychic information. Many times the cards are a nice way to give the person experiencing the reading something to look at, something to focus on. It's a way to help to focus the reader as well, so they stay on track, the most important message. But the message coming through, sometimes we look at the card, decks are different. And what I see here is I see him watering these pumpkins. And I see the little moth, which is like a butterfly, which reminds me of, what are you watering? That old phrase, where energy flows, attention, or where attention goes, energy flows. What are you watering? Because it's what you're watering that's going to grow. So in this time of transition, where one chapter is closing and another's opening, focus on the things that you really do wish to grow. Most definitely. And Dali, you said, yeah, isn't that cool with the third eye, how that comes through? Okay, and you'll carry the idea of the labyrinth with you. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay. Yeah, and Amy said so many things to consider here. Jane, yay, Tammy, hello. Wonderful. And hopefully, Diane, you heard your reading. The angels got through, and they definitely tapped my shoulder for you. Okay, so Jane, we're going to tap into Jane's energy. What's most important that Jane needs to know at this moment in time right now? And the High Priestess card comes up for you as well. So Jane, again, you as well are very, very highly intuitive. We've known each other for a while here in the online space. Something I want to point out to you about this card that comes through more strongly for you, because again, same card could pop up for different people, but it has a slightly different meaning or message. And the message that's really coming through for you are these pillars. So these pillars are the pillars that really represent truth. It represents the veil between the conscious and the subconscious. There's a lot that I want to share that's coming through intuitively to share with you, Jane. Let me know if you dream, because I feel like you get a lot of intuitive messages that come through in the dream world. So if you can take a moment to pause before you jump out of bed to remember your dreams, to focus on them, I think you'll find a lot of answers to your questions in the dream world. So having good Bednight. Sometimes words, like the information comes through so quickly. Bedtime or nighttime routines can be helpful in accessing the intuitive information, because for you, the way that the energy pops up, it's so subtle. That's what I pick up intuitively. It's so subtle and ephemeral that it's like if you try to grasp it too hard, it's gone. So a practice of practice, well, you could do reading cards. Yeah, like pull a card a day. Like in the morning when you wake up, what's the most important thing I need to know? But doing a practice of like when you wake up, of just quickly jotting down any thread of the dream that you can pick up on is a super, super helpful practice. It makes a difference. And Kim, you said, yeah, you like muscle testing as well. You think it's great. That's awesome. All right, Tammy, let's go ahead and pull a card for you. Tammy Pereira, and then Tammy Wilkins, we need to pull a card for you as well. So Tammy Pereira, tuning into your energy, just asking what's most important for Tammy to know. The Emperor. Oh, I love it. This makes so much sense. This is someone who's, I love using that phrase, been around the block before, meaning you are an expert. You know what you are doing. This is standing in full confidence of your gifts and your skills. It is taking a position of authority, and it is owning it and rocking it. The Emperor is very sometimes associated with the energy of the ram, and very bold and ready to go. It's Aries energy, go right into the adventure, ready to step into that leadership role. So this is confirmation. We've had conversations on the side, but this is confirmation and validation of you truly stepping into that role of authority and leadership in leading other people when it comes to fully embracing their journey and helping bring these beautiful souls to the forefront so they can be seen. You have incredible techniques that you share. So yeah, most definitely. Oh, that's exciting. And Kim A. Morgan, thank you so much. You said I have the greatest readings. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right, so Kim Morgan, we're going to go ahead and pull a card for you. What's most important that Kim needs to know right now? Oh, and this is interesting. Two kind of danced out. I'm just going to see. Okay, so King of Bats and King of Imps. They both popped out for you. So this is essentially King of Swords and King of Wands. I kind of feel like you're in the crosshairs of two different personalities. The thing about the court cards is they can represent someone in your life, a person, or it could represent an aspect of yourself. So King of Bats, the King of Swords, is very logical and practical, and they are, it's all business. It's not personal. They're going to think of the big picture. They're going to want to really think of it like a lawyer type energy. Questions, a lot of analyzing, thinking things through. The King of Imps is like, stop overthinking, just do it. Follow your passion, jump right in. This energy has the tendency to burn the candle at both ends. So as I tune in and I'm just kind of asking, is it you being caught between two different people or two different sides of yourself? And the first intuitive hit that I got when they came up together was that you're kind of caught in the crosshairs. Maybe it's advice you're getting from two different people. One who's like, no, you got to look at the contracts, read all of the fine print, look at, question everything. And this one's like, just go for it. In your gut, you want to do it. It's okay. Don't think about it. Think later. Do it now. Apologize later. Or ask for forgiveness later. And this one's like, no, look at the fine print. It's this tug of war. So whether it's outside yourself or inside yourself, you're being encouraged to find a point of balance and harmony, and not to leave you hanging like that. But how can Kim find the middle road? What can she do? The Magician. Know that all of the resources and tools that you need are right at your fingertips to answer your question. So you can always, all of us can always go outside and ask an expert for advice, but then take it with you, take time to digest it, to make it your own, to feel into it, to do your own research, and then come to the conclusion. Yeah, most definitely. It makes a big, big difference. Shannon Wilson, you thought that card was for you and it didn't make sense. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that was for Shannon Anderson. I'm trying to say last names because there's a couple they're wonderful duplicates of names. All right. So speaking of which, Tammy Wilkins, I'm going to go ahead and pull a card for you. What's most important that Tammy Wilkins needs to know right now? All right, 10 of bats. So the 10 of bats, this card came up before too. So this is the one where, like 10 of swords, where we might feel absolutely exhausted. Like I've given it everything I can and people just, they didn't appreciate it. They betrayed me. They stabbed me in the back. And I'm just kind of here. Like there's nothing left to give. I emptied my cup so much that, whoa, I can't even go on. It's a heavy feeling. But the great thing, like I said before, is that the worst part is over. And when I look at this, what I really see that I encourage for you, Tammy Wilkins, is that liminal place, that place of the in between, like the dawn and the dusk, because that's what this is really. Like, it chills, really sharing and showing. When I teach my intuition, mastering intuition students how to develop their intuitive abilities, one of the exercises that I encourage them to do, sunset's very nice, but you can do sunrise as well, is figure out what time the sun starts to set or the sun starts to rise. Go and sit outside until the whole experience happens, until the sun sets or the sun rises. It's in those in between moments that the veil is thinner and that intuition is stronger and strongest, and where you can receive those insights and guidance. So I would encourage you to look for those liminal, those in between moments where you just feel like you're floating, where it's very, very healing and soothing. It's kind of like staring at the ocean or floating in a pool where you feel weightless. Because what that does is it allows your body to integrate what's happened, and it allows you to find a healing of sorts so that you can accept the light, the joy that is on the horizon, the new things coming in. And Yang, you said, oh my God, so good. You had a reading earlier today inside new certification. The message you got was very similar to this card. Yes, you're being called in a new direction she never considered. Wonderful, Yang. So great to hear that. And Bob, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. And Kim, you said, thank you. It is all you. You're on both sides. You're in the Earth School journey, yeah, and you're trying to get out of your head and find more joy and lean into trusting the universe. Spot on as usual. Thank you. Oh, you're so welcome, Kim. Thanks for joining. Glad you were here. Okay, Shannon Wilson. So hopefully you're still here, Shannon Wilson. We're going to go ahead and pull a card for you and just ask what's most important that Shannon Wilson needs to know. Justice. I think of the Libra energy with this and with the scales here, but the Justice card, this is a great card that, let me say it this way, enforces that justice will occur. I also do this as a gentle reminder. It's also kind of like if we decide to speed, this is probably the card where we'll get caught. So anywhere where we're coloring outside the lines, the justice card is like, wait. Like, we need to be fair, balanced, equitable. So if there's something going on right now that has felt unfair, if there's something where there has been a disservice done to you, where it's like a contract or a legal issue, when the justice card comes up, it comes out in your favor. You know, that justice will prevail for you. So something to keep in mind. And then also the flip side, you know, this is the one where if we try to shortchange something, we'll end up kind of like, whoo. So just no speeding right now. I know I have a lead foot. I've got to really, really watch that. Okay. And Paulette, you said, perfect. You do muscle and energy testing. Wonderful. Yes, your upcoming trip to England. And you've been over analytical with deciding places to stay and have made 0 reservations. Yes, you need to feel into the vibe and follow the party. Yes, not sure why I forgot that. Needed the reminder to feel into the vibe. Oh, you're so welcome. Oh, that's so exciting. For some reason, I thought the England trip already happened, Paulette. So cool. And Joyce, yes, most definitely. I will pull a card for you. Keep popping your name in the comments, comment, because I can only scroll back so far, unfortunately, as we run live. And I'll keep going. I always go past the half hour. This is too much fun. Okay, so tuning into Joyce's energy. What's most important for Joyce to know right now? Okay. So 5 of bats. This card came up before for someone else. You know what's so interesting is it came up. Sometimes, you know, when a loved one passes, and Joyce, I know your mom just transitioned not so long ago. There are things that we say or that are left unsaid that afterwards we kind of wonder about. And what I want to encourage you to do is know that. So there's a show that just came up that I was watching, and a loved one had passed away, and the character who had lost her best friend, she said, "Oh my gosh, we had a fight before she passed or transitioned," and you know, that's going to have to stay with me forever, because I'm never going to be able to say I'm sorry. I'm never going to be able to say I didn't mean it, or to try to get her to understand where I was coming from. We can still have those conversations with our loved ones. And as a side note, what's so incredibly cool that I learned when I went through my priestess process training, which is a very shamanistic type of training, is that when we have a physical body, we can heal for the ancestral lineage. All of our loved ones that are up in heaven, if they feel like something was left undone in this lifetime, or if there was a harm or some kind of karmic weight, we can clear for them. And I do a whole practice around Halloween. My Moon Club members, I'll definitely share it with you. And I'll come on, I'll share it, in different capacities in the group too. I don't want to overwhelm all of you. But this is basically that reminder of knowing when to be at ease, Joyce. Knowing when you don't have to keep fighting and struggling, that you can kind of finally lay down the sword and find your breath. When I ask specifically what can be most helpful for you, I feel almost this holding of breath for yourself. We can, especially empaths, can have sympathy pains. We can pick up on the issues and illnesses of our loved ones to a certain degree. And I know you shared with me that your mom has had experienced emphysema. Make sure that you are reconnecting with your breath. Sometimes we also hold our breath when a loved one is not doing well. I know for me, when my mom transitioned, she transitioned in 2012, it was sometimes moments where you're just holding your breath and you're not breathing fully. So I'm going to encourage you to bring a breath practice in. So just to reinforce what was coming through at the very beginning of the call with Michael, a simple breath practice that everyone can do is just you begin with an exhale and you inhale to a count of 4 and you exhale to a count of 4. You don't have to worry about the breath retention. Sometimes people do the box breathing. Just make your inhalation and your exhalation even. You could inhale to 6, exhale to 6, any number you want, whatever is easy. That's a great beginning, because so often, more often than not, we have a short exhalation and a long inhale, which means we're leaving a lot of unused oxygen in the lungs, and we can't take a full deep breath, which is so important for lowering stress levels. Yeah, Jeanette, I'm so glad you made it. And Michael, you said exactly. Oh, good, Joanne, I said your name correctly. Woo! Fantastic. So Jeanette, I will pull a card for you next. Jane, I'm so glad that worked for you. Karen, oh, I'm so glad you got home in time to play. Okay, so for Jeanette Stefan, okay, I'm just tuning into your energy, Jeanette, and just asking what's most important that Jeanette needs to know. Queen of Pumpkins. So this is another Midas type card, the king or the queen with a golden touch. Everything you touch turns to gold. You have the little bunny rabbit here, so there's a lot of fertility, a lot of abundance and prosperity around you, Jeanette. Queen of Pentacles is also very much at ease. She's practical. She's down to earth, and she is willing to take her time. She's not going to be rushed by anyone. I'm like, oh, in my good time. She has paid attention to the details, so she is able to really feel at ease. So what I'm going to encourage you to do, Jeanette, I want to say everything so quickly, is take some time to enjoy the fruits of your labor, to take a moment to know that if there is something you wish to build and come to realization, especially in the physical world, you have the energy behind you right now to make it a reality. Just simply know you don't need to be rushed into it. If anybody's forcing you or rushing you, you're like, okay, all in divine timing. I'm not going to be pushed into this. In my own divine timing, I'm paying attention to those nudges and inklings. I'm paying attention to the details, and that will make a difference. And Kirti, hello. So glad that you're here. Welcome, welcome. And Garima, I will pull a card for you. I hope you're still on and playing, and I hope I said your name correctly. Such a beautiful name. So what's most important that Garima know? The 8 of Ghosts. So this is the 8 of Cups. And you'll see this little figure here, and they're walking away. This is This is a reinforcement of know when to walk away, that it's okay to walk away, that there are moments in our life where we have poured everything we can into a situation, a job, a relationship, a project, and then we just say, you know what, I'm ready to move on. So this is just that reinforcement. If you've been having any feelings, Garima, of, you know, this just isn't for me, I'm ready to move on, pay attention to those. And you can always ask for confirmation and validation from God universe and say, hey, is it really the right timing for me to move away from this now, to just run for the hills? One of my teachers used to call that card, run for the hills. And then pay attention to what comes your way. All right. Okay, so Donna Marie, I will pull a card for you. Wonderful. So, oops, got all things popping up when I do that. Okay, so Donna Marie, tuning in, what's most important for you to know right now? Lovers. Aww. I love this because Randy popped up earlier when you mentioned James brought him through. But that soul connection that you do have with your beloved Randy. This is also a reinforcement that there comes moments in time where we need to make choices and decisions. And this is a reinforcement that the decisions you make sure that they truly are in harmony with you, that it's not a quick feel good, or that ultimately it's serving your highest and best interest. So with the Lover's card, it is an opportunity. Yeah. And you know what's so interesting that pops out to me for you with this card is in her hand are the envelopes with the little hearts, I think of love notes, and even the little dagger there. I would encourage you to look for the little love notes that Randy leaves for you. Because I know in his own way, whether it's a heart-shaped leaf when you go out to visit your tree, or whether it's just a reminder of him that pops up somehow, a song that pops on the radio and reminds you of him, or when you're lying down at night, you just kind of feel a gentle pressure on your face, a little kiss from him, good night, to be aware of those things. Yeah, it's very, very simple. And Shannon, you said you may be heading to court soon, so this makes total sense. Ooh, I get goosebumps. Yes. So call in your angels, call in Archangel Michael for protection, but getting the Justice card is a good omen, most definitely, that things will come out in your favor. Yay, yeah, and no speeding. Most definitely. Angela, better late than never. I'm so glad you made it. And Candy said, you're so awesome. If you have time, would love a card. Fantastic, cute deck. Awesome. Okay. So before I scroll down too much farther, because I will lose things, let's see. Kirti, I see you. I will pull a card for you, and then we'll pop back over and pull more cards. Okay. Kirti, what's most important that Kirti needs to know? The Hermit card. This is fun. This hasn't popped up in a while. So the Hermit card pops up for a couple different reasons. Number one, the energy of the Hermit is someone who's very accomplished in their field. You think of the wise sage who is hiding in the mountains, like in Star Wars when Luke Skywalker, in one of the newer episodes or whatnot, he's in like these beautiful islands, and Rey seeks him out to gain wisdom. But when you are in the Hermit card, you have the ability to light the path for others who are walking a similar journey, to help them avoid pitfalls. There's a lot of wisdom that can be shared. There's also that encouragement to get back out into the world, where sometimes we might have been hiding away a little bit. You might have been hiding your gifts and hiding your expertise, and including yourself, others can benefit. So there's much benefit that comes from you moving out of a hidden space into more visibility, so that you can be seen and your incredible hard-earned wisdom can be shared with others. Very sweet one. Yay. And Candy, we're going to go ahead and pull a card for you. What's most important that Candy needs to know right now? Page of Imps. So pages, I mentioned before, are messengers, and wands, inspiration, motivation, illumination. So for you, Candy, what I really feel is light being shed on a situation where there may have been confusion. I do feel like there is some light coming to the situation, some information that will be coming, like a revelation of sorts. One of the things that pops out is that cute little devil behind him as he's walking. And I think of your beloved fur babies and all of the fur babies that you stand for. I feel like there's light coming to situation around that. And I don't know what's going on there. If there is confusion about one particular animal or something in general, but I feel like light will be shed on the situation and you'll know more and it'll make more sense. Oh. All right, Karen, we're going to pull a card for you. Trying to take sips in between. All right, most amazing Karen. What's most important for Karen to know? Ooh, the Tower card. The Tower card. Here's why I love the Tower card. So this is another card that people get and they're like, wow. The cool thing about the Tower card is you're no longer in the dark. You know all the information. You no longer wearing rose-colored glasses, no longer having the wool pulled over your eyes, but you have the information. What the beautiful thing about that is that you can make informed decisions moving forward. The Star card follows up and it's like limitless possibilities. Because sometimes when we're in a situation where we think everything's hunky-dory or, we take things for their face value, but something else is going on, we're at a disadvantage. And the cool thing about the Tower card is now we know. Now we know truly what's happening so we can make a decision. And I love that because for me, I think in this lifetime, there can be so much illusion and deception, and we're trying to discern what is truth, what can I trust. And that's why I teach intuition, like speaking the language of intuition. And I'm going to be doing that masterclass next week here in the group, September 12th, Thursday, noon Eastern time. Come play. I'd love to have you. I'm teaching it because when we learn the language of intuition, when we learn to trust our gut, those moments where something feels off, it smells fishy, it sounds funny, watch your languaging because that's a clue of your intuitive gifts. We pay attention and we say, I knew it. I had a gut feeling. Something just felt off about that. And this Tower card is reinforcing your intuition. So big, big hugs to you and lots of love, Karen. Because I know sometimes when the Tower card comes up, it's, we don't have the rose-colored glasses anymore. And it's kind of like, well, that's a bummer. But there's more incredible opportunities out there. Have you ever seen that movie Coraline? My daughter loves that movie. My son's like, it's too scary. I get a kick out of that. And in Coraline, the mother is like beautiful and loving like the other mother. But then when she can really see the other mother and the rose-colored glasses come off, she's a spider and she's got like these mechanical arms and she's not the loving, beautiful, nurturing mom that she looked like before, because now Coraline is no longer under the illusion of what was. And that's a cool thing. Side note about the eclipse that's coming up. This first eclipse that we have, September 17th, it's very spiritual, intuitive, psychic eclipse. Neptune's very involved. And Neptune can sometimes, also be responsible for deception and illusion as well as intuition. So it's like, where do we discern? How do we know? Am I making this all up in my head? Or is this really intuition? Is this a message from God universe or am I going crazy? It's a fine line. And that's why I teach people how to walk that line and really trust their inner knowing. And you love Coraline Young. I'm so glad. And Bob said, I hear the smile in your voice, something you needed to hear tonight. Oh, I'm so glad. Well, welcome, Bob. I'm glad you're here. So let's go ahead and we'll pull a card for you. What's most important that Bob needs to know right now? This is interesting too. Okay, the Hierophant. Beautiful. So the Hierophant card is about tradition. It's about there's a great weight of responsibility with this. I think of Saturnian energy. It's kind of like, this is the way that it's always been done. This is a tradition. And we just have to kind of, how do I want to say? We have to toe the line. Thank you, angels. Because I'm also hearing pay homage. And that's interesting. And that's why I was stopping for a moment, because I heard pay homage and toe the line. So if there's something that you feel like you've been really restricted by, because here's the thing, what's so interesting, Bob, is there's a lot of static and interference. That's why even like with the cards, like which one was coming up, a lot of static and interference, so that it makes it a little more challenging for intuitive hits to come through with clarity, and then you connecting with your joy. So what I would encourage you to do to help reduce the static, because here's the thing, just kind of stepping aside, talking about science for a moment. When we're around a lot of electronics, when we're inside a lot, we can build up a lot of positive ions in our space, which can make us anxious. It can make us overanalyze, not sleep well at night. It can add to a whole host of problems, affect our mood, our emotions, our health, our weight, all sorts of things. Going outside and earthing or grounding, if you guys have heard about earthing, where you just stand barefoot on the grass, or forest bathing, you go for a walk in the forest, or you sit next to plants outside. Earth is giving off negative ions, which create a balance in our field. And when I see static around someone like this, and it's just like, oh my gosh, it's like a buildup of static electricity. Go outside, Bob, if you can, or get near plants. And if that's not possible, put on a YouTube video that shows Mother Nature, whether it's a video of the ocean and water, or birds singing in a tropical forest. That'd be the next best thing. If you have a plant in the house, sit next to the plant. If you have crystals, put the crystals or rocks on you. Going outside barefoot, or just touching a tree if you don't want to go barefoot outside, because that might not be safe too. Do those things, and it's going to make a shift in your field, and that'll start to help too, most definitely. So wonderful. All righty. Yeah, it is a cute deck, Jeanette, isn't it? And Shannon, I hope you got your sound back. And Mary Jo Hassett, I'm so glad you're here. So let's go ahead and we'll pull a card for Mary Jo. Just tuning into Mary Jo's energy. What's most important that she needs to know? Strength. So Mary Jo, as you're going into this time, what I want you to know is that you have the fortitude, the resilience, the inner strength to achieve what is in your heart and what's on your mind. You also have the ability, and this, I'll say it the way it popped into my head, to bend people to your will. Do you know, like, sometimes when we're trying to, it's like positive psychology, right? I'm thinking about kids. And, or like in I don't know why Star Wars keeps coming up so much. I like Star Wars, but I'm probably more of a Trekkie than a Star Wars person. But, it's like, these are not the robots you're looking for. It's one of these things where even like with kids with positive psychology, you make them think it was their idea. And this strength card is saying you have the ability to win people over to your side in a very sweet and gentle way, not a forceful dictatorial way. So know that you have the inner fortitude, strength, and resilience to go for it. Something else that pops up is the infinity symbol here. This card is the 8, and the 8 is about, when there's a couple different ways to think of 8. But I'm going to introduce it to you in this way. 8 is like 2 zeros coming together. And the 0 energy is about creating a protective space. And as Mars is moving into, Mars has moved into Cancer and is going to be hanging out in Cancer for a while, I'm going to encourage you to create a safe space for the people in your world, and they'll be able to hear you with more clarity. When people are scared, when they're nervous, when they're in a space of fear, it's hard for them to hear and to take action on the positive. So hopefully that makes sense. So Bob, you're so welcome. I'm so glad. Okay, I'm going to pull 2 more cards. So if I haven't read for you, pop your name in the comments. I'm going to be scrolling. Oh, I've missed a lot of comments. Holy cannoli. So let me see what, Donna, you said, yay, thanks. And you said, oh my gosh, full body chills. And you said, thank you so much. I got one today and it was a heart-shaped leaf. Donna, you actually got the heart-shaped leaf today from Randy? What? That's total confirmation. He is so good at coming through. He also says, pay attention to the smells and the scents, because he's also trying to catch your attention with smells. I don't know if he wore like a aftershave or a cologne of sorts, but that's coming through. And Jeanette, you said, thank you. You really have work to get yourself here and you're grateful and proud. Yay. Wonderful. Michael, your brother, we'll see. Yeah, we'll try to take a little bit of time here at the end. And Donna Marie said, you're so incredible. Thank you. Oh my goodness. You're welcome, Candy. And Karen, you said, wow, so right on. It's amazing how the cards, right? Isn't this so fun? And that's a cool thing too. And that's what we do with Moon Club and with the Moon Journal I made is I work with you guys. I say, okay, let's pull a card today. What's most important that I need to know to make the most of the energy today? Or what can I expect? It's one way to develop and strengthen the language of intuition. There's so many tools and ways that I love, love, love to share. And you said lots of love to you too, Karen. You're so welcome. And Joyce, you said yes. And oh, and garnet. Oh, are you talking about the crystal? Yeah, wonderful. You're so welcome, Mary Jo. And oh, your son is here wearing aftershave. Donna, what? I've got chills on the back of my neck. Holy cannoli. Maybe I'm picking up on his energy. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and just for a moment. So again, I'm going to do kind of last call. If I haven't read for you and you'd really, really like a card, pop a comment in. If you're watching in Facebook or if you're watching with me live on YouTube, I'm going to just take a sip. And Michael, I'm going to just tune in to your energy and say hello to your brother's energy. So one of the first things that I do when I say hello to the loved ones on the other side is there's a couple different things. When we do mediumship readings, the way that I do them is I'm always working through God universe. I have my gatekeeper who enables me to be able to connect and talk with loved ones. And the way that I connect is usually I get impressions. So a bit of clairvoyance. I get images that pop into my head, memories. I get physical sensations, clairsentience. Like so before when Joyce's mom was coming through, I had difficulty breathing. And yeah, and a whole, so what we're looking for with intuitive abilities is really a synesthesia to blend them all. So even the clairaudience, the clear hearing comes in. I might get a song that reminds me of them. I might get a lyric or a quote, a lot of different ways, or a smell. Yeah. So one of the things that I get, Michael, is I get there's almost a sensation of listening to the radio. And it's interesting, and it's specifically almost like getting into the car and putting on the radio. And I don't know if there's a connection. Some people, they always get into the car and either the radio is on when they turn on the car or they have to have music on in the car. That was very, very much something special. I did get a lot of blood around the face and even the back of the neck, and it feels like something connected with a car. So I want to say hello to that. Another thing that I do is I ask for a significator, can't say that, but something that shares that. And I feel a lot of pressure on my head. So this almost feels like this was a wound, like that something happened with the head. I feel the blood on the nose and the neck. So I'm just sending so much love. I am feeling that it was very quick, and that it feels unexpected. It took him by surprise, but it's almost like on the other side, he's not surprised, if that makes sense. I asked for a significator. So like how to, like that you would recognize him and that you would know that this was him. And part of this was, oh, and Joanne, big hugs to you too. I see your post about your son. And part of this is the music that comes through the bond. The other thing that your brother's showing me, Michael, is something, and it's hard for me to breathe too. And I hesitated to say that at first because when Joyce's mom came through, I couldn't breathe, but that was more of the chest. This feels like the nose, like there's just, like, I can't breathe through my nose. It's difficult. But your brother's showing me, it almost looks like a wallet, but like gum, or like something he's taken out of his pocket. It's like a slim wallet, but it's gum. Did he chew something? I don't know if he chewed tobacco or chewed gum, but he had, some, or like a nicotine gum, something like that. But that would be a significator of that it's him coming through. And Michael, you said you're so right. Oh, you're so welcome. So then I just ask for, something joyful too that they can bring through. And I'm giggling because Michael, I don't know if your brother ever played tricks on you, like if he was a prankster. But like even now, he's showing me almost like this yellow like ball of light. It reminds me of the sun, but it's kind of like, good one, I gotcha. I feel like he's still playing the tricks on you, that he's still, like if you're wandering around and you're like, I almost want to say like, damn it, where did I put those keys? Gosh darn it, where did I put those keys? If things get moved around or, yeah, it feels like the pranks are still there. And you said, yes, he always played tricks. Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah, he's moving. And your brother had bad allergies. Okay, he chewed gum. Oh, he said exactly, LOL. So yeah, so he's still around you, most definitely. Like if something ever happens with the radio or the music that you're listening to as well, or a song pops on, that's way of his way of communicating to you. You know what he's reminding me of is a movie. It's a really cool movie. I can't remember the name of it. It's about where a son loses his dad at a very young age, and he connects with his dad through like a not a transistor radio, like the old CBs, like the people who have like ham radios, and he's talking through to his dad through the static. I feel like your brother sends messages to you through the radio. Maybe check out that movie. I'll have to find the name of that and share that later. I can't think of it off the top of my head. If anybody else knows what that is, I think it was Dennis Quaid who was the dad in that. I can't remember. So if you looked for him, you might find him. Okay. And then, yeah, alrighty. So you guys are incredible. You really, and Joyce, did you not get your card? I pulled one for you earlier. Holy cannoli. Joyce Jones. All right, Joyce, I'm going to pull another one for you because I saw you pop up over here and I don't want you to miss out on a card. Okay, so last card of the night, Joyce. And then, all right, so what's the most important thing that Joyce needs to know right now? The Magician. So I'm not sure what popped up for you before. You might have to scroll back. But what is popping up right now again, or now for you, is knowing that you have all the resources at your fingertips, that you don't have to look outside yourself to make something happen, that you have incredible skills, and that anything you set your mind to, you can do. Alicia, thank you. The movie's called Frequency. Yes, it is an awesome movie. Alicia saved the day. You are the best. Thank you. That would have driven me bonkers. Holy cannoli. Oh, thank you guys so much for coming on. You are incredible sports. I just love having this time with you. And if you want to continue the conversation, I am going to share with you the link really quickly. I probably should have had this ready and shared it even in the earlier part, but check this out. I'm going to pop up this link and let's see if I can show it on the screen here. And I think I should check and make sure that that's the right link. Yeah. The masterclass that I'm teaching, come play. It's free. It'll probably be about an hour long, and I'm going to teach you the 4 pillars, my signature system for developing your intuition, where to start. It is kind of the first step in my larger program called Mastering Intuition, which is so near and dear to my heart. It is something that definitely a work of love. And this is the first place where you can get a lot of information. So sign up for it. I would love to see you there. And when you sign up, you'll get all the goodies that go along with it, the reminders and other intuitive gifts that I send out along the way. All right. Joyce, I'm glad you're happy, but a happy cry, I know, not easy. And Joyce, you said this has been, oh, there you go. This has been amazing. Thank you so much. You're so welcome. And Angela, you said lovely readings tonight. Thank you as others' readings resonated with you. Wonderful. Angela, I didn't pull a card for you, did I? Hold on. Let me pull a card for you before I sign off. Holy cannoli. I know. Because I can't help myself. So Angela, I'm going to pull a card for you just in case I didn't. Okay, tuning into Angela's amazing energy. What's the most important thing Angela needs to know? The Hermit card. So Hermit's popping up for you as well. This definitely, I feel, get out of the house, get out of where you live, go out, explore, get some fresh air. The other thing that I'm being encouraged to say is that, like I see like a knitting group. I don't know why a knitting group is coming up. Maybe that's just me wishful thinking, projecting for myself. But sometimes we get so stuck in our routines, and there are people who really would benefit from your beautiful radiance and energy and joy, and you would benefit from them. And finding a group of something that interests you, to go out and play. So, oh, okay. Yeah, to go out and play. I would encourage you to do that. You said, "Oh, I'm glad I didn't miss you." And I'm glad that this card resonated the most for you before. Isn't that funny? But yeah, go out. I'm being very called to, because what's get popping to my mind, which is part of it. And this is how intuition works and the messages come through. My grandma, who just transitioned and is up in heaven now, she lived to 100. Isn't that amazing? She would have been 101 in December. She transitioned just about a month ago, and she was a quilter. And she started quilting later in her life, like in her early 50s. My grandpa passed very young. And so she decided, okay, well, I'm going to get out of the house. And she learned how to quilt, and she became part of this amazing quilters guild, and she taught master classes on it. And she became so well known in her area and very highly respected. And people would come over to her house all the time, and she would teach them techniques. And it was just this beautiful community. So that's kind of the image that's being brought into my mind. You can take that from that, what resonates with you. But it's that idea of you have incredible knowledge to share with others, and being in that community will also lift your heart. Bye, Yang. Take it easy. And then let's see. Donna Marie said, just wondering, will you be posting the replay of this live in the group? Yes. The card readings will be in the group, so you can watch it all there. And Shannon, you said, thank you. This has been an incredible experience being here. I'm so glad. And Jeanette, you said, thank you, Irina. Spot on. You're so welcome. And okay, big hugs to all of you who have lost loved ones. And if you guys would be interested in a night with the spirit, so to speak, a mediumship night, let me know. And we'll do one of those. Because I love that. I love bringing loved ones through. And that might be nice to add in addition to our tarot parties here in the group. I try to do them at least on a quarterly basis, if not monthly. All right. Have an incredible day wherever you are. Whether you're here on the other side, all the loved ones who came into play, they were amazing at getting messages through. Much love to you. And I'll catch you all on the flip side. Bye, guys. Sweet dreams.